Hello, my beautiful movie peeps. Take a good gander. Look at the set right now, because this is possibly the last side flick before the set gets spookified. So let's talk about some movie news. Some of the things we'll be looking at here today, guys, is we got James Wan commenting on the future reboot for Saw, looking like it's not a reboot. We got some minor updates with Avengers Doomsday, one of them debunking a feud that happened on set, and us finding out that Jackie Chan's stunt team is working on the fight choreography for Spider-Man Brand New Day. We'll be diving into that along with so much more, so please subscribe if you haven't already, timestamps in the description, and comment down below what you think the theme is going to be for this year's spooky set. I finally have decided on one. It is going to be very unexpected, but I hope you guys like it. It's going to be a long weekend of building that. But okay, let's jump into the first movie news story. And although we are going to get ready for the Spooky Mama season, we are getting news of a Christmas movie that ended up being kind of a guilty pleasure, Violent Night. It got reported here on Deadline that 2 actors have been added on into the movie, Daniela Melchior and Kristen Bell. I looked up how to say Daniela's name. That does not feel right, but that's what I'm getting when I look it up.
Daniela Melchior.
One of the things I mess up the most on this channel. I'm trying to do better. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen Violent Night. Like I said, it's a rated R movie where Santa Claus comes down and starts taking down a bunch of bad people. David Harbour, I think, plays it very fun, and there is this crazy Home Alone R-rated sequence that goes down that I'm very fond of. I'm not sure who Daniela is going to end up being. I have maybe a guess, but I think we can all pretty much imagine who Kristen Bell is going to be playing. I think we found ourselves our Mrs. Claus. Does she not give off perfect Mrs. Claus energy, at least for this version of Santa Claus? Kristen Bell, I think, could probably embody that role really well, and that was the tease in that first movie, that we would be getting a look at Mrs. Claus. So I just have a strong feeling she'll end up being that, and I think it's even more poetic given that she was the voice of Elsa in Frozen, the Ice Queen. I feel like that translates then to them being given the mantle of Mrs. Claus. Now, as far as Daniela's character, dude, let's bring in Krampus. Let's have Krampus be the villain this time around. And I'm going to say Daniela is like the daughter of Krampus. Do I have something? Did I cook here? No? Okay. We'll see how Violent Night turns out, but that's what I'm hoping for. I'm fine with the killing and bashfulness, but like, get into the world and lore building, and let's bring a Krampus as a villain for this version of Santa Claus. Something that came out today that's gonna make Star Wars fans pretty happy, or at least some of them. We got our first look at the upcoming Star Wars movie titled Star Wars Starfighter, that is starring Ryan Gosling and directed by Sean Levy. Not just that, but we also got more cast members added on into this movie. The film is currently dated for a release of May 28th, 2027, and if you are a big Star Wars fan keeping up with the news, this is a rare occasion to see a Star Wars movie get announced, actually begin filming, and looking like it'll actually get released. This tends to happen a lot for the Star Wars community. A movie or project gets announced, and then before you know it, it has just been disappeared and never to be heard of again. But the powers that be, when you got Ryan Gosling and I guess Sean Levy by your side, the movie's happening. From a casual Star Wars fan viewpoint, because you guys know, not the biggest Star Wars guy, but I'm not against the franchise. I'm very curious what the next couple of theatrical Star Wars movies are going to end up looking like in theaters, and how well they perform at the box office. Love or hate what's going on with Star Wars, I feel like they've run into a similar issue like Marvel, where they oversaturated themselves with TV content on streaming, and I feel like some of that has maybe hurt or brought down the brand. So when movies like Mandalorian and Grogu and this Starfighter film come out, I really want to know if audiences are showing up. Are they going to feel like big event films? I know more snooty movie fans out there really don't like Sean Levy right now, because he's the guy who made Free Guy, and the world for some reason has turned on Deadpool and Wolverine. So anything Sean Levy touches, people just automatically consider slop, when I'm like, well, let's just see it, man. Did you guys not see Real Steel? That was a pretty cool movie, and I still like Deadpool and Wolverine. So we'll see how it goes, but hey, at least this one's actually happening. Star Wars fans, you're looking forward to Star Wars Starfight. Moving on to another old IP that's being resurrected for the modern time, Knight Rider. It was revealed here that Cobra Kai creators are tackling a Knight Rider movie for Universal. Now, if many of you aren't familiar with Knight Rider, it was a show starring David Hasselhoff and his car that could talk. This was a show even past my time, but I definitely heard of it, and my dad at one point would even have the Knight Rider theme as his ringtone for his phone, so I heard it a lot growing up. But it's funny how older shows and their premise now seem so outdated and irrelevant in today's modern age. A high-tech car with a computer in it that can speak to you and perform all sorts of commands, like, we're living in that time, kinda. A lot of electrical cars out there, a lot of them with voice capabilities, a lot of them with really smart. Does a film like Knight Rider seem all that interesting when that's kind of our reality? I know there's probably some things in that show that aren't exactly possible now. And in fact, the creator of Cobra Kai, which is the only thing kind of giving me a little hope for this because I like what they did with the Cobra Kai show, responded to friend of the channel Sean Chandler, who was also voicing these same concerns I have with it, is why would a Knight Rider movie be interesting in a world with such advanced cars? And he actually said, yep, we're living in a world of burgeoning AI and vehicle automation. That's a lot of the potential of why now right there. We promise to use our 80s toy collections for good stories, not nostalgic cash grabs. And I'll be honest with you, they've proven they know how to take something that was a beloved property, like a Karate Kid, and use some of that nostalgic fondness of the show for actually interesting storytelling. So we'll see how it goes, but Knight Rider happening. Who's interested? Moving on to some horror talk. We got an update here with the Saw reboot. As you guys know by now, the Saw franchise is now partially owned by Blumhouse, where the original creators, James Wan and Lee Winnell, are now back and preparing new movies and stories to tell us. Well, because we have The Conjuring 4 coming out pretty soon, and James Wan is still a producer of those films, he's been doing some interviews and he was asked about what we can expect from his new Saw films, and I was surprised with the answers. He said here, I definitely want to find a way for the next couple movies to be respectful of what fans love, whilst finding a new audience for it. It's a 20-year-old franchise, and I do think finding a fresh start to some degree is important, while still staying true to the world we created. And it's those last couple of words and the way he phrased them, saying a fresh start to some degree, staying true to the world we created, that to me is not sounding like a straight off reboot. That's what I was really imagining happening with this next Saw film, that it would kind of be wiping the slate clean, starting at square one, hiring a new actor to be John Kramer. But as a huge fan of the Saw movies, the lore is super convoluted. It's all over the place. A lot of characters, a lot of stories that just went unanswered. It feels like they would be better off starting a new timeline, and it looks like they're not gonna do that. We even had a Scooper viewer, Annan, who's brought us a lot of reliable information in the past, say, you want a Saw scoop? It's very early days, but I've heard they're aiming for Tobin Bell to continue playing Jigsaw in the Blumhouse/Atomic Monster Saw follow-up. It is not intended to be a remake or full reset. What? That is kind of blowing my mind. Like, and I'm torn because, of course, I just said it. I love Tobin Bell. I think he's amazing as John Kramer. And I know this is so morbid and terrible to say, but I realize we're not going to have Tobin Bell in our lives forever. And with the way the current universe is set up, if you really want to bring Tobin Bell in a physical presence, it'd have to be another prequel movie. I don't see why you would put yourself in those situations when, again, you could start fresh and clean. But who am I to question the genius of Lee Winnell and James Wan? If they have an idea, if they have some sort of starting fresh point that does involve John Kramer, let me see it. It's not like I was expecting this reboot that I wanted to be a remake of the first movie. That would be a terrible idea. I don't want you to remake it. I would just still like the idea of a Jigsaw, a John Kramer, setting up traps and going after new people, and you can slowly start integrating familiar characters with a planned out story instead of having to, wing it every sequel. So I guess I'm kind of shocked, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Saw fans out there happy. They're keeping the continuity. It looks like we're staying true, and all the past films are going to remain canon in this new universe. But James Wan says it is going to be a way to bring new people into the series, so don't start bringing out huge fan theories that, Amanda's going to carry the franchise. Detective Hoffman, there we go. He's going to be the new face of the series. That does not scream starting fresh. But hey, we'll wait and see, right, guys? So Saw fans, how are you feeling that the reboot looks like it's not gonna be an actual reboot. Moving on, talking about some Scream 7, something really exciting dropped. It got revealed that the original composer for the first 4 Scream movies is finally coming back to the franchise. Marco Beltrami, who, like I said, composed the score for Scream 1 through 4, is now finally coming back. And I know that might not seem like a big deal, but to me, as someone that's trying to look forward to this movie, regardless of all the controversy, the one thing I am hoping for with Scream 7, having Kevin Williamson in the director's chair, is that maybe he will find a way to inject that missing puzzle piece that I couldn't quite put my finger on, that I just felt was missing in Scream 5 and 6. Now, you guys know I like Scream 5 and 6. There's a lot of things I thought they actually did well, and is one of the reasons I was so sad whenever they just decided to cut off Melissa Barrera from the franchise and not complete her trilogy. And no, I don't think the obvious missing puzzle piece was, oh, it's just because Sidney Prescott was not the lead. To me, Scream 5 and 6 proved you could pass the torch and tell a Scream story, but I always felt in those movies something was missing. It was a sort of tone or a vibe, whether it was me feeling like the mystery aspect wasn't as well crafted, the guessing game of who's behind the mask, especially sometimes those reveal scenes weren't hitting, and I think one of those things could be attributed to the score. The score sometimes really sets up the atmosphere, especially in a horror movie. And Marco Beltrami coming back has already teased a couple of the pieces he's composed for the movie, even bringing back Old Sidney's Lament. I'm already getting like a nostalgic Scream vibe. So as a giant fan of the franchise, I can't believe I've never thought about, this being one of those missing key elements of the past 2 Scream films. And I just can't wait to hear it fully in the movie itself. But all right, moving on to Avengers Doomsday. So we've gotten some little tidbits and details going about. Most famously, the story that's come up the last couple of days is a TMZ and People magazine report, a rumor going around online. You guys have heard there's been this supposed fight or argument that happened on the set of Avengers Doomsday. It was reported by John Roca, who is the same person that got right that Spider-Man would have Punisher and the Hulk in it, when we all thought he was just making stuff up back then. I know I thought he was making it up. But whenever this report came out, he didn't say which 2 celebrities they were, and that just 2 really big names of the movie got into an altercation. That's then where the internet took that story and created their own narrative that it was like Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds. And I feel like this story got so big, it must have been people at Marvel kind of tipping off TMZ or People magazine being like, hey, can you squash this? Because this is bad PR for our film. Having it come out that Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds haven't even met each other in real life and currently haven't done any scenes together. So that's thrown out of the table. Now, that's really funny to me because the word on the street is this story is still true. There are 2 actors that supposedly got into a bit of a face-to-face on the set, but it seems like the internet heard that and has just been making it this giant story. I know when I first heard about it, it's not that I didn't believe it, but I feel like that happens a lot on movie sets, man. You're working for hours on the day. Sometimes you're also just sitting around waiting for you to be able to do your scene. It's a very frustrating and sometimes tedious environment. I could understand actors sometimes butting heads or getting into arguments, but I always feel like that's squashed come the next day because you got to get back to work and you got to be professional. To me, I'm just attributing it again to how much negative press has been going around online for Avengers Doomsday. Some people really just want this movie to fail and Marvel as a whole. And I feel like this isn't going to stop. I'm sure like in a month or 2, we're going to hear another crazy, weird report and we'll be right back here talking about it. Aside from that, though, we did have the actor who plays Namor, Tenoch Huerta, be on a Mexican talk show where he kind of revealed some of the people he was working on in Avengers Doomsday, accidentally letting it slip some characters he would be sharing screen time with, and one of those was Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. And this is something some comic book fans have been really wanting to see because there is sometimes this love triangle, or I should say more, Namor is constantly pursuing Sue Storm, like I guess a lot of people do. Dr. Doom, Reed Richards, Namor, me. And if they're sharing scenes together, people are automatically thinking, oh, well, there you go. They're going to hint towards their love triangle. They could definitely do a small hint to it. I don't think it'll be a giant plot point, but I'm actually thinking a little outside the box, and I'm seeing what they've set up with Sue Storm in her universe and how that could apply to Avengers Doomsday. and I think I cracked the code. In Fantastic Four, they show us that Sue Storm is very political savvy. She creates the Future Foundation, and it's this global peace initiative so that all the countries work together, are in harmony with one another, all except Sokovia. I'm wondering then if that same political power Sue has is going to be used to convince Namor to help them on their fight towards Doom and this multiverse threat. No, because really think about that. Even the Fantastic Four, she was the one who had to talk to Mole Man, Mr. Do This, and she was the peacekeeper, was the negotiator. I could see maybe Namor at first not wanting to help, saying, not my problem, y'all deal with it, I got my people to worry about, and Sue's like, let me talk to him. I have a history of talking to other nations and other people and convincing them to help us. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that's it right there. I cracked it. But of course, we'll have to wait and see in the movie. I still don't think their love triangle, though, is going to be given much screen time, because even the actor in this interview says we have like 20 characters, all big superheroes. We all have a tiny part of this large story. Bringing us here to talk about some Spider-Man Brand New Day. Woo! It's nice that we are consistently getting official updates for this Spider-Man film, and this latest one, it set me through the roof excited, man. We got an interview with Jackie Chan, the man himself, where he let us know that he recently visited the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, don't get too excited. It doesn't look like Jackie Chan has a role in the movie, but instead, he was visiting the set because his stunt team is working on the film and doing some choreography for Spider-Man Brand New Day. And, dude, what is Destin Daniel Cretton cooking? And how amazing is this movie gonna be? I'm starting to get a little too overhyped for this thing. Jackie Chan is one of the kings of hand-to-hand combat, but not just that. It's a very specific type of combat using the objects around you to your advantage. And dude, I could go on for days watching a Jackie Chan fight scene. It's so mesmerizing. It's an art form, really. Like, that's not even a joke. And I miss it so much in modern day action movies. Now, I'm not saying this Spider-Man film is gonna have those kind of action sequences that are similar to Jackie Chan. I mean, I would love it and I would hope so, but it's at least given us a hint that there is gonna be hand-to-hand combat, that there is gonna be fight sequences, and Spider-Man will partake in that. And just knowing the Shang-Chi bus fight scene, and that had a little like Jackie Chan vibe with like the jacket sequence, that's something that you would like probably see in a Jackie Chan movie. Imagining then what he could do with Spider-Man in those fight scenes. My goodness, dude, this movie is about to cook. Aside from that, it's been other just like little rumors and news stories going around, stuff that could be true, but I just don't want to dig too deep into the rumors right now. One of them said like the Punisher will be the Marvel character that'll have the most screen time aside from Spider-Man, so Yelena and the Hulk will not have as much screen time as Punisher. And honestly, that's something I don't mind. I really love the Punisher, and I think his dynamic with Spider-Man is going to be interesting to watch. I just hope Yelena and Hulk's inclusion still somehow makes sense in this movie, because a lot of us, like I said, we're still lost on the overall plot and what's going down in this film. But yeah, you guys let me know about what you think of Jackie Chan's team joining the fight choreography for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Anyways, guys, that is all movie news we currently have going on right now. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films, or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.